Hey y'all, ladies, how y'all feel? Fellas, y'all all right out there? Okay, it's your girl, and I'm back, and I'm here with another video. So today we are making a simple pot roast with mixed vegetables and some mashed potatoes. And because y'all asked for this video, let's get into it. Okay, first thing first, we're gonna chop up a few onions. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my YouTube. Okay, I posted this recipe on Facebook Reels, and everybody had been asking for it. So here it is. So we're gonna chop those onions up real nice and small, and then we're gonna clean the meat. Now I was getting a lot of backlash on Facebook for cleaning my meat. Now I do apologize for any inconvenience for you people who don't believe in cleaning your meat, but trust me when I tell you that it's very much necessary. So this is what I use to clean it: red apple cider vinegar, a little bit of lemon juice and water. And all you do is mix that together, put the water on top of it, and scrub. Scrub just like you as if you were cleaning a dirty dish. You want to get all that slimy, icky, gooey stuff off of your meat before you cook it, because you don't want to get food poisoning. Somebody told me, oh, the FDA say if you clean your meat, that give you food poisoning. Well, we not listening to the FDA today, baby. We gonna clean this meat, get it nice and clean, not sticky and icky, before we get it ready to chow. Okay, so as you can see, you see me cleaning the meat, getting all that slimy, gummy, gooky stuff off of it. And then I'm going to peel my potatoes. I'm not like most people. I don't use box potatoes. That's just not how I was raised. So you're gonna see me organically peel these potatoes with a knife, not with the potato peeler, and gonna sit them in a little bit of water before we get ready to boil them. Now make sure that when you peel those potatoes, that you cut them in half so they can soften quicker, and it'll be easier for you to mash them. You see all that dirt, the potato stuff that came off of it when I swirled it around? That's why you sit it in the water before you actually boil them. Then I add a little bit of sea salt to my water. And I normally cook these potatoes on medium high in order to get them soft enough. Right after this, I went ahead and seasoned the roast. Now, a lot of people were asking what herbs and spices I use. I use allspice, ground cumin, whole oregano, garlic, and onion powder. Badia complete seasoning. That's my ultimate favorite seasoning to use on any and everything, and a little bit of fresh parsley. I love parsley. I don't know why. It just tastes so fresh, and it gives the meal a refreshing flavor. So as you can see, I'm seasoning the meat, and please make sure that you season the meat on both sides. It is necessary for you to season it on both sides. And once I get the meat completely seasoned on both sides, I didn't use any measurements. I'm old school. I just let my ancestors tell me when to stop. They told me to stop when it came to the oregano and move to the garlic powder. And you season that good on both sides. And then after you season it good on both sides, you are going to add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, soy sauce, and browning. Now, browning, you use that either to brown gravy or to add different spices to whatever meat it is that you're cooking. You can also find that browning mix in the condiment aisle or in the sauce aisle, where you would find the barbecue sauce, the hot sauce, and things of that nature. So continue to season the meat. There's my fresh parsley. Season the meat well, because as it cooks down, you don't want the flavor to go away. And then I'm going to add my Worcestershire sauce, a little bit of soy sauce, and the browning. And then once you add those sauces, you are going to rub it in good and deep inside that meat before you put it in that pan or the pot, whichever one you use. And then I'm going to do the browning, and be sure to rub that in very well before you sear the meat. Now, once you get everything rubbed in, we're going to move on from that and get ready to get this meat seared. Rub that in real, real good. And then you're going to heat a pot, a pan, however you plan to cook it on the stove. Now you see the smoke coming off of that pot. That's because I preheated it before I put this oil in it. Only had a little bit of olive oil left, but that's all right. I shook it off. Preheat that, put that oil in there, and then you're going to caramelize your onions first before you put the meat in. Why do we saute and caramelize our onions, baby? For flavor. For what other reason would we do it? For flavor. As you can see, the onions are starting to brown and caramelize. Now, once they get to a light brown complexion, you are going to remove them, sit them aside in a bowl, and then prepare to sear your roast. Sit those aside, put the pot back on the stove, drop the roast inside. You are going to sear the roast on each side for about 2 minutes. You don't want to completely get it completely brown. You just want to get a little bit of char on it before you actually get ready to boil it. Add the vegetables back in there and all of that. So right here, I'm just continuing to let the meat sear on both sides before I get ready to add my water and my beef broth or beef stock. See, it's just a light brown texture. You want to get it halfway, not even halfway cooked, like probably a third cooked. Because once you add your onions back, before we add the stock to this, we're going to add the onions back on top of the roast and then add the stock. And once you add the stock, you are going to also add a little bit of water to cover the roast. So all of the liquid covers the roast. And then you are going to let this cook down for about 2.5 hours. To be on the safe side, let it cook down for about 3 hours. And I guarantee you it'll be completely tender. So we're going to cover this with water and then place a lid on it. And then we are going to go in and make our homemade mashed potatoes. As you can see, I added the water, added the onion, so all of that can mix together and get that flavor. Let's make those potatoes. Okay, now as I stated before, I'm old school, so we don't make anything out of that box, honey. So you see those fresh potatoes, they are nice and softened and ready for us to go ahead and mix. And so you're going to mash them first, of course, with my little potato masher. And then after you get them all nice and mashed, you're going to add some butter. You're going to add at least a half a stick of butter. Now, I use softened butter already, so that's about a tablespoon or two of butter. Then you're going to add a little bit of milk, just a little bit. And then you are going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper as well before you mix it. Now, most people might mix it with a spoon, honey, but I'm old school and I like my mashed potatoes whipped very well. So I use the hand mixer. The hand mixer gets my mashed potatoes nice and fluffy, how I like them and how my family likes them as well. So continue to mix it up till you mix up all the butter and all the milk, and this is your outcome. Look at them. Don't they look whipped well? And then you're going to give them a little bit of swirl with your spoon. Stir it up. They just so nice and fluffy. Mm, 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 mm. Then you're going to add a little bit of more salt and pepper because you want to be able to taste it. You want those potatoes to have a little bit of taste. And salt and pepper is necessary for that. A little bit, not a lot, a little bit. So here we go. This salt. It was only a little bit of salt left in there, you guys. And a little bit of pepper. Black pepper, that is. And you want to stir it again. And I like to add a little bit of butter back on my finished product just so those potatoes can stay nice, fluffy, and moist. Now, we're going to go back to the roast. And right after I made the potatoes, I went ahead and added my mixed vegetables. Now, keep in mind the roast have been cooking for at least 2 hours now. You don't want to add the vegetables at the beginning when you're cooking the roast because you don't want your vegetables to be soggy. You want them to be soft and still have a little bit of crunch, because I like a little bit of crunch on my vegetables. A little bit of crunch to them, but make sure that the roast has already been cooking for at least 2.5 hours. So on that last hour, when you allow the vegetables to cook inside, everything will simultaneously cook and become tender together. So you see me adding the mixed vegetables. That is fresh broccoli that I chopped up to put in this. And here's the outcome. And there you have it. I have that roast with mixed vegetables, with mashed potatoes, and homemade cornbread. I didn't give y'all the cornbread recipe this particular time, but we'll save that for a later date. Look at it and get into it, honey. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you guys will share with me when you make your pot roast and mashed potatoes with mixed vegetables and cornbread. And as always, I promise you won't be disappointed. Okay, bye.